have a storage box of clothes. I pretty much always have had a stored out of sight box of clothes that I try to limit it to that box. But then, you don't pay attention and the clothes walk right out there, and then the pile grows into 2 or 3 piles and you're like, what has happened? I don't know what has happened. This sort of like holding zone, I think I'll probably always have, because there are some good reasons to have a holding zone, to make sure I really truly don't like that thing anymore, or it's really truly not going to fit anymore. I like to give myself a few weeks, maybe even a few months, but these piles sometimes have things from like 5 years ago. They've just been in the holding zone for years. That's too much. I don't like that. And I need that space right now for art supplies. I would much rather have art supplies and paintings I've finished but want out of the way to be in that space that I have, not the unworn clothing. So I went through it, and I am very close to being all the way done with that project. I went through it, and there are some categories that kept coming up that I thought might be useful to talk about, and I very much want to hear your categories as well. If you also have out of sight clothing, if you have a box somewhere, what's in it? Why do you have that box? Have you examined what you keep putting in there? I have a strong goal for myself to only have the clothing that is up in my closet, and for that clothing to be things that I'm wearing regularly and ideally year-round. It's not something I'm perfect at. It's definitely a project in progress, but that is the goal. So I definitely don't want to have multiple boxes out of sight growing like monsters. Where is this coming from? So the first category in mine that I think is the most reasonable category to have in a holding zone for a little while is stuff that doesn't fit. Stuff that I wore extensively and that doesn't currently fit. So for me, that pile, there are a few things that I bought that turned out to be a little too big, and my adjustments are just not going to be enough. And there are a few things that are too small that I have from before my last baby, which he's about to turn 2. So like, it's time. Even though I loved that clothing, I don't want to be that size again. I'm happy where I'm at, and I need to let it go and find something that I'm even more excited about. So for me, that category happens because I'm uncertain about the future. I'm uncertain that I'm not going to be the exact same size forever and ever, probably. I've already changed sizes multiple times in life, right? So that kind of uncertainty, and especially when it's something that I loved to wear, I just like put it out there and, just in case. Well, okay, it's been 2 years. Just in case is going to go out the door now. I think that that's a good length of time. Oh, and a lot of these clothing fit multiple categories, I found. So I have a dress that is both a doesn't fit, and I hope it never does again. I don't want to be that small again. I feel so much better now. And also it's sentimental, and also it's like fabric and details that I love. And multiple categories makes it harder to get rid of, but I'm going to. I've decided to trust that my future self can handle buying something even better. Like, it doesn't need to be the exact same thing that I loved before, even if in the future I'm that bigger or smaller size again. Trust my future self to sort her own closet out. The second category, as I sort of just mentioned, were sentimental things, or either because they came from like an experience that I went on, or like a trip, or it's a gift that somebody has given to me, and I can barely, I don't have a 100% record of buying things I like for myself. So when someone else buys me something that's clothing category, that's tough. That is a tough gift to give me, especially because I'm like really, really particular about color. And if it's close to a color, that's probably not going to cut it for me. I get I feel very sensitive to wearing color. Yeah, okay. So the sentimental past category, that I don't know. I don't have a trick for that. I just need to let it go. There's not that many items. I think it was something like 3, but it's 3 things that I'm holding on to and why. I don't enjoy wearing it. I can let it go. The third category, this one gets out of hand too, is stuff that I like certain aspects of it. I might love certain aspects, like I said. Maybe it's the perfect color, and it's a hard to find color, but I don't like the fabric, or the cut is a little off or uncomfortable. There's going to be something that's not great about it, and something that is great about it, and I put it in holding like I can come up with a solution to what would make it better. One of the things I was looking at, and I did it as I was sorting through trying to get rid of this pile, right? I'm like, maybe if I did some elaborate colorful embroidery on this blah gray shirt, maybe that would be exciting. But that's not what I want. That doesn't actually fix the problem, and I still don't think I'd wear it even if I did all that work to change it. Like, that is not, the end result isn't something I would have chosen to buy. So that trick of like, would I buy this item now? The answer is no, so it needs to go. The other question that I ask myself for this category is, do I feel my very best in this? And if it's something tucked away in the garage, the answer is no. And if I did feel my very best in it, it would be upstairs in my closet being worn weekly or frequently. So another category gone. The fourth category is the guilt category. Something that that is like a really expensive item that I probably never got into wearing. And I have this guilt about it, so I feel like I should sell it to like mentally recoup some of those costs. It's like the perception of value, and I hate selling things online. I hate it. But there's this category of clothing that I feel this sort of like guilt and obligation to do that for. Which in the past, to deal with this category, I've said, look, I haven't sold it. It's been stored for a year, so it's going to donation with the rest of things. And I might hit that again, or I might force a few things, just a few things online, maybe just to remind myself how much I hate listing things online. There are 2 things that I do believe I will. Actually, I'm gonna run and get them. The 2 things that I feel most driven to try and sell aren't even things that I spent. I spent money on the supplies, but I feel driven to because I handmade them, and I made them because I wanted to wear them. I made them for myself. I don't knit for other people. But I do sometimes knit for myself, things that I can't find in stores, things that I feel excited about the idea of. And it was good knitting. It's good. I like the result, but the colors that I chose, like I said earlier, I'm a nut about colors and precision of colors. So let me show you the first one. I've got this little shawlette that I made, and this is yarn that I hand dyed because I was trying to get precise colors that I couldn't find to buy pre-made. 100% wool. I wanted a pastel rainbow. The colors, again, I'm so nitpicky about color. They're not precisely the colors I had in mind. And then I wanted to divide it up with this like natural white color, but something about it, I don't know, it's like, it feels like wacky on me. It feels like it's the wrong style type for me. There's something about it that feels too, maybe it's just, I don't do horizontal stripes. I will occasionally do a vertical stripe, but I'm not big on any prints really for myself, except for snake print. Anyway, maybe it's just all the stripes. maybe I want something that feels like rainbow but isn't striped like a rainbow. I don't know. But it's like, I still think it's beautiful. I just don't like it on me. And I want somebody out there to love it. So I feel like I need to list it. The other hand knit that I have is this sweater vest. And it's got these two odd pockets, which I still think is really cool. And it has the leafy pattern on this pocket. This one is just solid. And then the back has this, I think it's this beautiful pattern of leaves that go up the back. And it fits, and I still think it's a really cool pattern, and I love the odd pockets. But at the time I had burgundy yarn that I felt like I should use up, that was going to be part of a blanket that didn't end up being part of a blanket. Long story there, it wasn't going to be my project. It was for somebody else. And so I ended up with this burgundy yarn, and it was wintertime, and I love all colors, but not on me. And I love burgundy, especially in winter, but not on me. So why did I make myself a burgundy vest? Because I had the yarn and I was in the mood to knit, and I found this cool pattern, and I modified it in a couple ways, and this is what I have now. And again, I love it, but not on me, and I want it to go to someone who loves it on them. So that is my sell category. And then I have some expensive designer things that one is a dress. It's a wool dress. I like the color, I like the general shape, but I hate midi length on me. I hate it. I haven't found any way around it. And sometimes it feels like the only length of dresses I can find in store are midi length. And then when there's been a trend that goes on long enough, eventually I end up with at least one thing like that. Like I ended up with a pair of skinny jeans because there was like 15 years where I felt like that's all you could buy. So I eventually relent, and then I'm like, why do I have this? I hate it. So I have a few midi dresses, I think, in that pile, or at least, no, I have at least two. At least two in the pile where I feel like I should sell it. I feel guilty about it. I feel guilty about having it. So I will either sell it or I will donate it, and either way, it'll be out of my painting supply area. And then the last category that I found that I was storing are things that are only good for 1 or 2 seasons. And as I mentioned, I feel I am currently driven strongly to emphasize clothing that works year-round in my wardrobe. I want at least 90% to be for year-round wear. The other 10%, yeah, it can be specific to winter or summer. Gotta have a winter coat, that kind of thing. Might want to have a summer sundress. That's okay. It's okay for me to have a few, but I have more than that. And the things that were stored, in addition to just being 1 or 2 seasons, they also fall into that category of I like certain aspects and I dislike other aspects, but the aspects that I like trick me into holding on to it when I need to focus on the aspects that I don't like, meaning I'm not gonna wear it and I need to let it go. There's a small pile that I'm keeping from that because it is summertime right now and it's hot, and I don't feel like I can adequately or truthfully evaluate the wool things that I had in storage. Probably they will just need to go as well because I also have wool things I like in my closet, but I don't want to let go of those until it's winter and I've had a chance to wear each thing, I guess. There might be a base layer merino top that I keep out of that. Probably not, but maybe. And so that little pile, I'll move to my closet where it can't get out of sight, and I can deal with it either as I see it and I become certain, or as the weather cools and I can force myself to deal with it then. Pile managed. Please tell me about your out-of-sight clothing if you have any. What do you think about not having any? Is that something that would be a goal for you possibly? What are your categories that you end up storing and what's underlying those categories? Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.